podcast dedicated to the lore, legends, and myths surrounding the creatures that may lurk in your backyard. My name's Hewitt.
I'm Chris. How you doing, man?
It's been a weird week. It was ACT testing, and we had a parent-teacher night, so I had a half-day Friday. So, I had a very short week. I also took a mental health day Monday.
Probably for the best.
Yeah, this was I went to work, and somehow it was the shortest week I've had in a long time, but also the longest. It's one of those, everybody knew this week was going to end early, so everything just kind of
piled up.
Just kind of drug.
Okay, so it's one of those days where it's you know things are going to, you're going to have a long weekend, and you're ready for the long weekend.
Yeah.
But shit's just dragging.
Very, very much so. I feel next week's going to kind of do the same thing because it'll be the first, full week in all of October that we've had.
Yeah, it's weird. Y'all...
We had fall break. We had the last day of the 9 weeks was a day that was in service for teachers. Mm-hmm. So, I've had a 4-day week, no day week, 2-day week, and now I'm going to have, the only 5-day week I'm going to have all month. And Friday, we're doing, some type of fall festival Halloween celebration thing, so that's really not going to be a day that counts.
Right. It's just going to be a fun day for kids.
Yeah.
It's something. My days, we have one less person in the lab because they moved to Oklahoma. So it's just been kind of getting readjusting and everything.
Does that make your job a little more secure, though?
Yeah. I mean, I think one of the best things about my job is that it's fairly secure. I say that. I don't think I suffer security or insecurity from within. I think the main issue that I'm running into is small lab, and a lot of dentists are either going to bigger labs, or they're doing a lot of things in-house.
Yeah.
So there's the idea of I think there is half as many dental labs as there were 5-6 years ago, which part of that could have been COVID.
Yeah.
Because of different technologies. But I assume COVID killed off a lot of labs because there was a lot of older people that had labs that were
it's good. I'm good.
It's time to hang up.
I don't need to keep milling teeth. China's sending us copies anyway.
That's probably been better for our business. The only way that the tariffs have been better for business is that dentists are not going overseas with their
teeth orders.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I'm learning a new program.
That's good.
It helps with... Okay, I don't want to get too far into it because it's a bunch of jargon, but it's learning how to design metal abutments for implants.
Mm-hmm.
And it's an interesting program. I like learning new programs and stuff like that. I like getting my hands into something like that where it's just I get to play around on a CAD program or something like that. I really wish, or I mean, hindsight's 20/20, but I wish earlier in my life I would have focused in and really found CAD software at one point, because I would be that would be my thing, just doing CAD software work. There is so many noises happening right now.
One of my children is on the other side of one wall from us playing with a toy that makes noise, it's one of those sensory straws.
Yeah.
And then I don't know if my daughter is in the kitchen or not, or if she's in the living room.
I assume it's your daughter, but I heard a squeal and I thought it was a meow, and I was immediately thinking of the cats in my house.
Well, you're talking about some new technology, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, what do you know about night vision scopes?
Well, they help you see at night.
Uh-huh.
They're often depicted, when you see it in a movie, night vision is depicted as green.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's actually true in real life. I think it's actually kind of like a grayscale.
It depends.
But they're scope-like, so they are tube-shaped.
Mm-hmm.
That's about it. That's all I got.
Do you know about the stories connected to red night vision in Vietnam?
Red night vision?
Red night vision in Vietnam.
I had no idea. This sounds...
What I'm going to tell you today is about the red demons of the Vietnam War.
Okay, so how does this connect to...
I'll go over it. So let's get a little history here. In 1929, Hungarian physicist Kelemen Tihany invented an infrared sensitive electronic television camera for anti-aircraft defense in the UK. So the first thing that could be argued to be honest night vision pops up in 1929. And it's just so you can look at the sky and see if someone's flying a plane over you. Because think about it, before like World War One, there was no I gotta look up during war.
Yeah.
Other than did they throw something at me?
Mm.
Now, the Germans, starting in the 1930s, called their night vision the Vampire, Vampir, or what we would say in English is vampire. So what would become the Nazi scope during World War II was known as the Vampire.
Somehow fitting for the Nazis.
The Allies called theirs the M1 and the M2, aka the precursors of the Starlight scopes, also known as snooper scopes.
Snooper.
The Allies needed to find a better person. Like they should, like if
did they get like the biggest creepo to name these? Ew, this is a snooper
apparently.
scope.
But my thing is like I would have called it the Van Helsing scope since they're calling theirs the Vampire.
You see, that's nerdy, but it's better than snooper. You say, "Oh, I'm going to use a snooper scope to like spy on you in the dark."
So we created night vision roughly around there, but to get now into a very, very loose thing about how night vision gets connected to Vietnam, in 1954, Vietnam was divided into two parts. The Vietnam War lasted roughly from about 1955 to 1975, according to Western historians. A lot of times...
Wait, it was the Vietnam War?
Vietnam War... Well, the French were still there at the beginning.
Okay,
but really, Vietnam considered itself independent after World War II.
Right.
Ho Chi Minh had gone in at the Paris Peace Conference at the end of World War One. He went and tried to argue for like, hey, everybody should get rid of their colonial possessions because all these colonies helped lead to the start of the war. All this competition, like Europeans are fighting over land that's not yours. Just let it go. Like get rid of the, and then there's like, sit your ass down and now I want a coffee. Like they treated him like a waiter.
Yeah.
So, people from Vietnam might say that the war started earlier.
Okay.
Now, Ho Chi Minh led a rebellion kicking out the French in Indochina at the Battle of Dien Bien Phu because the French decided to build a fort at the bottom of a mountain, not the top. And they built it not knowing that they would have to ever fight up the mountain. So their artillery couldn't be depressed enough to shoot up the mountain.
That seems like a big flaw.
Yeah, all the North Vietnamese forces had to do was get up the mountain high enough to not get hit by the cannon and start shooting down.
That's a big flaw.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and you're just kind of handing them the W at that point.
Now, we had been given military advisors to France during this time, and we also then started to support the South Vietnamese government, not because it was good, because it wasn't. It just wasn't communist. Containment, domino theory bullshit.
Mm.
So in 1963, you have the Gulf of Tonkin incidents, which may or may not have actually happened. It could have been a falsified report. Other people say it did, but supposedly one of our vessels was attacked in the Gulf of Tonkin and is what we legitimized allowing military forces to be sent into Vietnam. Not officially declaring war, but allowing it to be an executive military action. This is going to culminate in the 1970s War Powers Resolution, to where the president can only send president has to inform Congress within 48 hours that he's sent troops, and they can only stay up to 2 months, like 60 days, without congressional approval to maintain them there. So, like, when we're talking about Vietnam or later on the war in Afghanistan and the wars in Iraq, where we never declared actual official war or a state of war, they were executive actions that were continuously approved by Congress every so often as an attachment to a resolution or to a bill.
Fine.
So Congress had to vote to keep our troops there. But the War Powers Act is technically supposed to limit the president's ability to send the military somewhere without Congress. We're having a big test of that right now at the time of this recording. Now, the U.S. is going to get directly involved in Vietnam in 1965. It's going to be a full military conflict. So in 1965, we are fully committed. We have sent troops, and now we are continually sending troops, and we're going to for about a decade. The Truman Doctrine, domino theory, stop communism from spreading, Cold War philosophy, all that bullshit, oorah, Semper Fi America bullshit, is the reason that we got involved in a land war in Southeast Asia that literally was none of our fucking business.
Right. I mean, I think there is like we could probably talk about like the Vietnam War, the problems with it.
Oh, the Vietnam War is a whole fucking monster, man. Like, I have not studied the Vietnam War because I didn't consider that history with the number of people that we have grown up with, like older uncles.
Yeah, I mean,
like your dad was in the age group. Like, my dad's not. My mom wouldn't have been. Well, my mom's age group would have done one tour in Vietnam, possibly.
Yeah, my dad was not eligible for draft.
But my uncle Wade, who was born in 1950.
Oh, he was eligible.
He was eligible. The only reason he did not go is because he failed his senior year of high school. He had a 5-year plan, not a 4-year plan. And the military said if you can't pass high school, they didn't take him. And then he got a job working for the water system in Monroe. And they're like, yeah, that's an important job. We can't take you away from it. So, we're not going to draft you now. Like, because there was multiple years he could have gone.
Right.
And several of his,
it's not like I mean, us being millennials, we're far removed from when the draft was. Not far, but.
Literally 10 years from the year I was born.
Really?
Yeah, we were drafting people up until almost 74.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
And I was born in 84, so like literally the draft.
Gen X and
Gen X would have been kids or would have been very little kids when this was happening, but they would have been too young to be drafted. This was the Boomers' War.
So for us, and I guess for Gen X or just anyone after Gen X, really didn't have the experience of getting drafted. So I'm assuming there was like a constant pressure on young boys to for that. Like,
yeah, I mean, especially down here in the South, like the statement of rich man's war, poor man's battle, or poor man's fight that was mentioned during the Civil War, very much Vietnam, like college kids, like to use Bill Clinton as an example. Bill Clinton was a Rhodes Scholar. He couldn't be drafted. He was a college kid. He was a smart kid. He was in school.
Right.
The current president bone spurred his way out of serving. Right. But a lot of wealthy folks did not go to Vietnam, but down in the South where poverty is incredibly high.
Oh, all of them.
Yes. Enlisting. Well, I mean, also the South has a very long history of like pride in military service. Going back to George Washington, even like the South was like, we very much want to be in the military. And the North's like, I'm going to make money because being in the military and getting shot at sucks. So a lot more folks here in the South and a lot more people in the lower socioeconomic bracket ended up going to this war. And one of the big things about the war, and the reason I picked this, and it'll be brought up here in a little bit, is there was some higgledy-piggledy being done during the Vietnam War about what we were giving soldiers. Like, we're still dealing with people who have lawsuits against the government because of Agent Orange, which was a war crime. There's no way, like, we didn't get charged with it, but
Did we do white phosphorus during this period, or?
Yeah,
so that's also a war crime. It's also happening in another place right now.
Yep. Also, the amount of flamethrowers that were used with the precursor to napalm and then napalm. That's an issue because napalm will burn underwater.
Why is... You know, I never really thought about it, but, like, there's, like, half of the problem... Or, like... Okay, so obviously Nazi Germany happened, and a lot of things we consider war crimes happened because of the Axis powers, right? And then you just jump to the 1970s, and it's like America is creating new war crimes, like back to back.
Okay, so my counterpoint to that is you can't war crime if you win.
Well, that's a technicality.
I mean, 100%, yeah, but you get what I'm saying with that, right? Like, it's... if you're on the winning side, you don't get hit for war crimes. And like, we've been like, even though losing Vietnam, no one the UN's going to push anything, even though, yeah, Johnson and Nixon both probably like Kissinger needed to be hit for war crimes. So like Johnson did a lot of good. Like, I won't lie. Johnson did a lot of good for civil rights. Johnson did a lot of good for improving working conditions in the United States. But Vietnam, man, that sat directly on apparently that 14-inch hanging cod that was in his lap that he apparently liked to whip out.
Well, I mean, it goes back to like
for the gentle listener, the only reason I say that is President Johnson is the only president that is officially documented to have whipped his John Hancock out in office to intimidate people into understanding why he was doing something. And he also would mess with people. Like, he would stand next to you at the bathroom and then ask if you've ever seen one this big. This is not a joke. This is documented. And there's also audio
Clinton
recorded.
Wasn't the first Democrat to sexually harass people.
It is...
Or sexually assault.
There's also audio evidence of multiple things that this man has said, including, man, my balls itch right now, that have been put on television recently thanks to John Oliver. So if you ever want to know something weird about the presidents, LBJ is the first one to start having a lot of super weird shit pop up about him, because that dude was apparently a fucking trip. Like, that's the only way I can put it. Is nice way.
He was a wacky man.
But to get back to our main point, so that's a little bit of history, but let me continue on with some stuff that's going to be directly connected to this with the night vision scope. The night vision device, NVD, which I'm doing that because I'm going to say NVD at some other point during this podcast, is a device that allows you to see in low light situations. Gen 1 NVDs really are those around 1939 and were used by both the Germans and the Allies in World War II. You know, the snooper scope and the vampire. All they do is they amplify existing light. Like, a night vision scope does not create light where there is darkness. It creates light where there is a low light environment like nighttime. Light passes through a tube and a series of lenses and then through a phosphorus lens to grant more illumination. Is the roughest basis version of how this science actually works. Most early versions shot a beam of red light, and it would then be picked up by the receiver tube and bounced when it bounced back. So the whole time it is like there's this big battery on the side of your gun.
Right.
Like, you remember, like, when we were kids, like the 3x3 battery that had the two springs on the top that would shove in the giant ash flashlights.
Right. Okay, yeah.
So it'd be like one of those on the side of your gun. So here's like 8 pounds hanging off the side of your damn gun. And then here's a 3-pound light on top of it. And you're looking through a tube right here. So the earliest versions were kind of weird, but fun fact, the original version that was used in World War II is what then became our modern day black lights and UV lights used for hydroponic farming, showing invisible stuff, ghost hunting, and making posters look super cool. So
that's the most important thing. You need your shroom posters to look cool.
Now that's the technology and that's the history. So let me get to the stories. And there are several. I didn't write down all of them. I just like kind of hit high points because I read several personal accounts people posted.
Right, right.
So one of the first was in 1965. New night vision goggles were issued to airborne infantry who rode along in helicopters. The new night vision, scores. They were mostly given to gunners on planes. They were given to sights for artillery on ground, which for some reason I put score instead of sight. And they were often a monocular. Like, so the earliest ones given in were a monocular, but this new one that they were given was a binocular fold down over your helmet.
So it was like a splinter cell.
Yeah, that would go down over your eyes, and then you're on the gunner in the side of a Huey.
Damn, what happened to that game series?
Don't know. But Cliff High, a gunner on a Huey helicopter, opened fire at the same elevation as him in the helicopter, which was immediately an alert to the pilot and the captain that was in the front of this Huey as they were doing a routine patrol. He was not shooting at the ground. He was shooting at the same elevation. He kept yelling that they are flying towards us. They are coming towards us. They are coming at me. They are coming at us. Somebody else shoot. The soldier described winged horn demons flying towards the helicopter. His commanding officer took the goggles from him, put them on, and saw the exact same thing. So the captain that was in the helicopter took them from the enlisted men and then put them on. I was like, oh shit, keep shooting.
Jesus.
Now, fun fact with this information, officers and pilots were ordered not to wear the goggles. They were to be issued to gunners and the sights for artilleries. So they're like, hey, officers, you keep your shit up. They're the eyes. You shouldn't put these on. So it starts to make the whole situation seem a little government sussy-wussy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, another story is an infantry medic looked through a night vision scope on watch and reported a field of dead bodies. Like, he would take them off,
see nothing, and then
put them out, and it's just a field of corpses in front of him.
So is this like the They Live glasses at this point?
A little bit of this vibe. The next morning, like, because he kept on, like, he went to his sergeant, was like, hey, Sarge, hey, Sarge, hey, Sarge. The Sarge's like, the next morning, fine, fuck it. 3 of you go out and do a patrol in this area, where he kept seeing a fucking bunch of dead bodies, and they found nothing. So this medic was put up for, like, mental, like, they're like, you're addled, you're shell-shocked, is what they were kind of telling him.
Was shell-shocked?
Shell-shock was still being used as a term, even though PTSD had popped up at this point.
Okay.
So a PT boat captain reported the shore vegetation moving on its own and undulating in an unnatural manner while using the goggles on while on a night patrol. He likened it to the one time this was in bold, the one time in Vietnam I tried LSD.
So he's like, the one time in Vietnam
that I did LSD was exactly like this time I put on these red goggles. Was it the same time? No. The Army radio operator was on. There was a Army radio operator on watch at 3 a.m. near the Ho Chi Minh Trail and reported seeing a large winged humanoid sitting like a vulture in a tree, staring directly at him. Talking like a 8-9 foot tall human.
That's a big boy
with wings, hunched like a vulture, just kind of like, I'm gonna get you.
Hey, I'm
gonna butter them buns.
Hey, what you doing? What you doing down there?
Now, when he took the goggles off, he saw nothing, but it was there when he put them back on, just unmoving. Many units also reported while on patrol uses seeing creatures following them in the air and watching them from trees or running alongside of them. Now, the goggles that were issued had about a 60-day run before they were recalled and replaced with the green sights that would become standard issue for the U.S. military with night vision.
So these were the red.
These were the red. So it's about 60 days. So let's talk about some explanations that could be with this. The number one explanation is PTSD. The number one is PTSD. It's the main explanation. Vietnam was one of the most stressful wars because it was non-conventional. Attacks could literally happen at any time and anywhere due to tunnels. An example of this is the oh god, now I'm going to blank on the name. The Tet Offensive that happened on Tet, the Vietnamese New Year, where Viet Cong forces, Viet Minh forces, attacked every single U.S. military base simultaneously. Now, none of the attacks successfully destroyed any American military base, but they attacked Saigon. They attacked the South Vietnamese capital, which is in South Vietnam. Not just like sort of near the border attacks happen.
Yeah, it's well within the border.
Like they happened everywhere, and the Tet Offensive shook America because it's like, hey, we're winning. How the fuck did they attack our butt?
Yeah.
So
everything I'm not like as well versed as I probably should be on the Vietnam War, but I do know, like, one, it's a huge red stain on American history, but also it's a just a cavalcade of just fucked up shit.
Well, to give you an idea of what the Vietnamese or the North Vietnamese did to us in Vietnam War is what we did to England in the American Revolution. I don't have to beat you on the field. I just have to keep an army and make you keep spending money to come over here. Yeah. But now there's television, which means they're going to see what you do.
Yeah.
And it's going to make you look bad. And if I can beat the American people, much like if we can beat the British public,
yeah,
I win. And you're going to go home. And that's exactly what they did. Now, also, another thing is the Viet Cong did not wear a uniform. So they might be in their village or in their town doing their work, get a call, grab a gun, go shoot you. And then immediately when they're done, go toss the gun in like some hole that it's supposed to be stored in. Someone then tunnel rats it down deeper. And then you go back to farming. And when the American squad that just got shot up comes back to your town, you're just like, just wave. Acting like nothing. This is why like several soldiers in the Vietnam War got called baby killers or like women killers because they burned villages down. Because like, I don't know if any of you are the enemy. Like you might try to stab me in the back and I'm so fucking paranoid. Also, I mean, so like they didn't know if it was what they're being shot by the people they just said hi or just like might have actually given water to. And so like, this shook soldiers and it left so many of them with PTSD. And that's also why so many Vietnam vets ended up with drug addictions. Well, also that heroin is a big product in North because the Golden Triangle.
Yeah. I know that like drugs were just rampant in the Vietnam War.
So, I mean, there's a good chance a lot of this is PTSD and somebody freaking out. Now, the next most logical explanation is this a hoax? Now, according to the Department of Defense, they list that there is no official information on this. It used to. The DOD website used to have a page on this. I Wayback Machined this because our current dum-dum in charge has been getting rid of any website connected to the DOD that makes the military look less than stellar.
Oh.
So they had information about the red phosphorus lenses and the stories about this, and more or less they still said it was a hoax on the Wayback version of the page, but the current standing is that no, we never did this and the military would never test anything on its soldiers, which we know is bullshit.
It's like, no, they'd never do that.
My dad got experimented on in the 80s in the military. Now, when I say that, they gave him, like, they test vaccines on soldiers.
Right.
So, like, the first time, like, humans get a certain vaccine, it's probably been injected into some poor-ass private's butt cheek.
Yeah.
Now, also with this, so the official stance of the DOD is that this was a hoax. There's time frame issues because there's only 60 days. All the sources are really word of mouth. A lot of this info pops up on conspiracy theory podcasts and weird manosphere influencers as well.
Yeah, I think that would be the biggest red flag for me.
So, like, to give you an idea, I did have to watch a clip of Joe Rogan talking about this, and he's like, oh, yeah, that's really cool. And I'm like, you stupid piece of shit.
You dumbass.
Like, the way he's like, oh, yeah. Like, yeah, if I do this, I sound like I'm deep. When it's like, I just, like, took, like, 5 CBD gummies, and I'm just sitting here with my skin tag nips out. And this dude, I don't know who the fuck this crazy dude is. He's just talking to me about demons and visions of stuff.
Oh, it might be the guy I'm going to talk about next.
So that's the thing. There could be a hoax. Now, another highly likely, and this is the one I kind of look at more, is that this was a military experiment. Vietnam had multiple military experiment, tried out new technology. Number one being Agent Orange, a massive defoliant made by Monsanto. No, it's a defoliant. It is a Agent Orange at its core is a excessive version of Roundup. It is the biggest.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's an exfoliant. It also exfoliates everything.
Sorry, I shouldn't say exfoliant. Defoliant.
Defoliant.
It's a weed killer. All Agent Orange is a highly concentrated weed killer. But the thing is, if it will kill grass, it will more than likely also kill you. Or cause severe birth defects, which Agent Orange has. Like, if there is a sin that America must fully admit to, it is the usage of that on Cambodia and both North and South Vietnam.
Yeah, I mean, they're still suffering that.
Oh, yeah, they're still birth. We are talking like 1960. We're talking 60 years later, man. We're talking like...
Right, yeah.
It's been a minute, and there's still birth defects coming because of this, and there's still water sources that are tainted because of this. But Vietnam was the testing ground for a lot of new technology. M16 rifle, the Huey helicopter, a lot of other weapons, and they gave them to them like, hey, we're going to try this out, because Vietnam was the first war that they tried to run fully like a business. And that was a massive fucking mistake. And that's one reason that we stayed there so long, as we did not actually.
It wasn't about winning. It was about.
It wasn't about. There are a lot of people that made money. This is the reason why Eisenhower said never trust the military-industrial complex. Now, some of these had horrible long-term effects, especially Agent Orange. Chemical leaks were noted from scopes throughout times, and that the chemical within it, the phosphorus used to make the lenses, could cause hallucinations.
So people were putting on these
goggles that could be cracked, which, I mean, it wasn't like maybe that they were made badly, but like, do you realize how rough any equipment by the military is used at any given point?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It's like, it's in like a helicopter, it gets jostled around, and then it gets put on a soldier, and there might be like a small leak or something.
I mean, it's like the amount of hairline cracks that can form, or a loose gasket that can happen. The short time window that these were used could kind of follow along with this. It was a use of experimental technology.
So they were like, oh, it's not working. Let's just...
The chemicals in this are causing our soldiers to trip balls. And there's a lot of people that, when I was reading their stories online, that have found some of these, and they had pictures. I don't know if it's real or not, because it's fucking Reddit. But also people were talking about looking at what these things, like military buffs that have like learned how you made early night vision scopes, like from World War II. And technically cyanide is in the process to make them.
Oh, no.
So there's a chance that short time window could have done this. And if anybody, again, says that we don't test stuff on our soldiers, think about the Davy Crockett atomic rifle. Do you know about that one?
I don't. That would be...
So we made a small, like, 6-man team carryable artillery piece that fired a little boy. Like, fired a mini nuke.
So it's like the Fallout mini nuke.
Yeah, that's the Davy Crockett inspired. Now, the mini nuke that they fired would be roughly twice the size of a propane tank.
Oh, well, that's a little bit bigger.
But the thing is, if you shot the Davy Crockett, there was no way for you to get out of... Like, you wouldn't be in the blast radius from it, but everybody that worked on a Davy Crockett test got cancer. Because there was no way to get out of it.
Yeah, because cancer's going to go...
It had like a 1 mile shoot radius kind of thing. So there was no way.
We are wacky. Like, I keep saying it. We are just.
So, some theorists think that the U.S. was intentionally seeing the effects of phosphorus poisoning on its soldiers to see if they could weaponize it against the enemy by making a phosphorus bomb. That is 100% believable to me. Like, I don't want to put my tinfoil hat on, but like...
especially at that point, they were doing a whole bunch of crazy shit, just generally. So I would not put it past the U.S. military to be like, let's try some funny things. Now,
this next theory connects to the point that I'm going to make after this for an explanation, is that several theorists believe that red phosphorus can be used to see into other dimensions or supernatural creatures that are normally invisible to the human eye because we can't perceive that light. And they wanted to see if this could be weaponized to then contact or deal with said creature. That one's a little bit crazier, but at the same time, if you told me that was a World War II story, I'd be like, yeah, kind of.
That's also like something I could see the Nazis doing.
100%. This kind of connects into an area that I really didn't want to go into, and I didn't do any research, but also connected to the idea of interdimensional observation and time vision. Like, I know that one of the other ones I mentioned that we just recently did ends up being loosely connected to time travel, and I absolutely
despise.
I can't.
You're not a fan of Back to the Future. I get it.
No, I like Back to the Future the movie, but like, I can't get behind like trying to legitimize time travel as anything other than science fiction, because just the problems it starts creating.
I think. Was it? This might just be some pop science shit, but I think it was Stephen Hawking that said it technically can be possible, but is it like in practice possible? Probably not.
Yeah, in theory, could this exist? Could you create the conditions to do it? Probably. Will it do anything effectively? Probably not. Yeah. Now, this connects to another explanation, which is red phosphorus. Dyson dyes has been used to create lenses that allow people to see auras. If you put a Dyson red dye into glass, it will put a glow around people, and a lot of folks into psychic powers and stuff like that say this glow around the body is a aura. Like, you can see someone's energy and their life force.
Right.
Walter Kindler said it allows you to see the fields around living beings, because it's not just humans. You can see it around plants, you can see it around animals, but you don't see it around like buildings or wood that is not still part of a living tree.
Right. You just see it around actual living creatures.
Now, psychic state allows for you to see different frequencies and see different energies, or possibly into other dimensions, and to see elemental spirits. So they would claim that these horned devils that we're seeing there might be some type of elemental spirit that was in Vietnam, and that this red phosphorus was allowing them to see it. I'm going to go ahead and say this is absolute fucking BS.
Oh, that was the one I was hoping for.
This is absolute fucking BS.
That was the one I was
Studies have shown
of.
that prolonged exposure to the red light can induce hallucinations in the human eye. So, like, do you remember the Virtual Boy?
Oh, I had one of those, actually.
Where everything was red and black?
Yeah.
It caused severe ocular damage to certain kids. Like, not everybody, but like some kids, like the way that their connules and everything in their eye were set up, that red on black became so harsh it started causing damage, and also caused kids to start seeing things that aren't there. Like, if you're in a room that's all red, one, your body immediately associates red with danger.
Right.
So if you're like in a horror movie, like if you're in a room where it's like everything is red and black, like because of the drastic lighting, immediately, you know, shit's about to be, something bad's about to happen, right? Like it sets off like your danger sense, a little bit of a twinge of all that. Yeah. And so like red on black is a terrible color, and it's why we don't use it in night vision. The other thing with it is the reason we don't use blue on black is because, I don't know if you've ever noticed this, blue LEDs can start to trigger headaches in humans.
I didn't know that. I would just figure that blue on black is just, it's a little bit muddier.
I'm saying like bright blue LEDs, like true blue LEDs. Like, I'm not gonna lie, if I have a migraine and there's a blue LED in a dark space, I'm going to find a way to shut it off. Like, I had a headache one time coming back from my parents at night, and like just my headlight symbol was just this bright blue, and it was like, it just got amplified. So blue on black is the best two colors apparently for night vision are green and gray.
Okay, so that makes sense.
Like, those are the two that our body has the best reaction to. Now, this then connects to another possible explanation. Hungry spirits.
Oh, we're getting into the...
We are a supernatural podcast, so I had to make sure that I included not just some obscure weird shit about this, but also that we have hungry ghosts. So when a human is not buried correctly, they can become a wandering spirit or a hungry spirit, also known as a hungry ghost, or similar such supernatural creatures.
Like a ghoul.
It is believed the war may have caused a lot of these entities to exist or drew the attention of them into the area because it was a brutal... Bodies got left and they weren't buried. Therefore, it would make sense that there is a hungry spirit that would pop up. The first one, and anybody that's listening, please forgive me on my pronunciations. I do not speak Vietnamese, but the Thon Thrung. There's some unlot type things and arrows above some letters. They appear near graves. They are very similar to the concept of a reaper or a psychopomp. They torture the newly dead to learn about their living families. They are believed to kill those that were related to these folks as well, which would explain why like a whole family might die in a brief period. Kind of like how we talk about vampires in Eastern Europe would attack their own family. They appeared as large winged birds or humans with wings and bird-like heads. So like a big scary bird man kind of fits this like description of like a horned demon, especially like if it had like a plume or something like that. So they're kind of like the really jacked up version of a reaper. Like they're like, I'm going to torture you till I find out, what's your mama like? What's your mama like? Hey, does this sound like you? Does this sound like you? If I did this to your mom, do you think it would sound like you? Please stop digging your claws into my ghost spleen. Like, and that would happen. Or sometimes it would be the dead themselves coming back to torture their family and feed off of the life force, trying to come back to life. There's also the Ngoi Shim, which are bird people or sky ghosts. Again, they're another type of psychopomp. They look like a human with wings. Some of them are depicted with like elongated heads or some other type of unworldly feature, like to give you uncanny valley. And then there is the My Lai, which is a Crusoe. Except that it also ate poop. It would eat carrion, but also excrement.
I mean, the Crusoe would also do that, I think. I think we did mention that.
Yeah, I think we might have, but it's been a minute. So all these are possible explanations of hungry spirits in Vietnam that could be associated with these quote-unquote demons.
A Crusoe would already be kind of fucking freaky. Imagine just seeing the Crusoe through night vision.
No, you put this and all of a sudden it's a lady's head and guts flying near you. Like, fuck that. Now, a real-world thing that is loosely connected to this that's actually somewhat fucked up and funny. It's called Operation Wandering Soul. This was a psychological warfare attack made by the United States on the North Vietnamese during the Vietnamese War. They tried to get the Viet Cong and the Viet Minh to desert. They recorded Buddhist funerals and other creepy sounds and combined them into a massive, terrible sound. And they played the sound over speakers in the middle of the night to scare the Viet Cong. The Viet Cong would just shoot in the directions of the speakers. They tried this for 5 years. They did this for 5 years, and every time...
It's so wild to me that American racism just is so stupid. They're like, we're going to trick these Vietnamese with sounds, and they're going to think they're seeing spirits, and the Vietnamese are like, they're playing something over a speaker. It's time to art.
This project was officially disbanded in 1970 and listed as a failure.
Oh, really?
So, some other facts before I get to my references. Green phosphorus is easier to make than red phosphorus. It's also cheaper. Dyson dye, red dye, are highly regulated and monitored because they are poisonous.
That's cool.
The human brain, like I mentioned before, the human brain does not like red on black as much, and it starts to form patterns, and pareidoia starts to occur. It's also harder on the eyes, and it can cause headaches and other mental stress, and in combination with stuff like PTSD and the stress of being in a war where shit pops out of nowhere on you.
Right.
Your brain starts going to some very dark place. It's like if you're in a dark room staring at yourself in a mirror and your reflection starts smiling at you, it's not because there's something supernatural on the other side of the mirror, as much as I hate to say that because I hate fucking mirrors. And I feel like there's creepy stuff there. It's your brain starting to do something because it's staring at something it doesn't want to. So your brain's ADD kicks in and makes shit up.
It's like, hey, it's time for you to get out of this mirror. Let me just do a funny face.
Let me freak you the fuck out. Yeah. Also, the chemicals could be inhaled through as small as a crack that was thinner than a human hair. So if there was any crack in the glass, there's any crack in the tubing or anywhere like a gasket split.
It didn't take like a visible crack.
Right. So
fracture.
that's the reason why I say that like the military experimenting with new technology could be the cause of this. I would believe it. Now, before I get to the references, is this a urban legend or did this actually occur? I think that the urban legend is why these stories have continued, but I do believe there is some truth to this story because there was a switch in sites listed by multiple soldiers.
What it could have been, like the way I think of it is like a game of telephone, maybe.
I think there's that, but I mean, my conclusion, my where I stand on this is that the government was trying new technology. It had chemicals in it that were not good for people, and we didn't really test it until we put it in soldiers' hands. And then the stress of the conflict mixed with a hallucinogenic poison gas that was used to create the tool itself led to these hallucinations. I do not believe they actually saw demons. I don't believe they saw a Crusoe or any of these bird people. I don't believe they saw that. What I believe is that they were in a stressful situation. They were introduced to a chemical that caused them to hallucinate.
Right.
And this is what happened.
I think I'm with you on that. Like, the only thing I would say is, like, maybe there's a game of telephone where there was, like, people bringing up or, like, creating more and more over the years. Like, as the stories got brought up, you know, oh, we saw flying demons now. Like, it could have started out as, like, seeing dead people or seeing, like, weird...
Your brain starts making sense of things.
And then they're like, as time goes on after the event, people are like, yeah, this soldier
saw a fucking demon.
Yeah. Like, it just kind of gets to that. And then you're on the Joe Rogan podcast, you're high as fuck, and you're talking about like seeing into different dimensions and shit.
Okay, so my sources, Quora.com, SOCOM.mil, Wikipedia for information on night vision, coasttocoastam.com, the museumoftarot.com, the book, The Secret of Seeing Charlie in the Dark by Richard A. Ruth of the Department of History of the U.S. Naval Academy. There is a like when the DOD says that there's no records of this, there is an official fucking DOD report that I found that is verified. In fact, I got it off of what was an associated site to the Department of Defense. AR15.com, forums, prototype Red Night Vision, Vietnam. ParanormalGlobe.com, Department of Defense. I will not call it by its new name. Its false name. I will dead name the Department of Defense as long as I live. Just like Pluto is still a goddamn planet to me.
And it's the Gulf of Mexico.
Exactly. The smartlocal.com, Vietnamese ghosts. The secretproject.co.uk, claims Vietnam War night vision. History.com, craftedlore.com, Than Trung, medium.com, a bunch of websites I can't pronounce because they are Vietnamese. Slapped Hams on YouTube and Strangeology on YouTube.
Ah, well, this was an interesting story, and it's one of those ones, like, you know, you always hear about all these weird things that happen in Vietnam. Specifically in Vietnam, you hear it in World War II, but, like, Vietnam is, like...
The amount of kooky, weird shit with Vietnam...
It's just off the charts. So it's always good to hear something new about Vietnam. And I say that in a way that, like, as if it's not like this horrible tragedy and a stain in our nation and everything. I just mean it in the sense as, like, there is so much interesting history there. And, like, beyond that, I wish we would learn from that horrible mistake. But that probably wouldn't happen. Anyway, moving on. We are Backwoods Obscura. We release every Tuesday. We're kind of on social media. Hewitt posts on Twitter, but we're also Team Bonus Action.
TikTok. I don't go to the Muskie site
Oh, yeah. Did I say Twitter?
You did. I go to TikTok. I go to the slightly less smelling of armpits and manosphere social media to post for us, and I also put stuff up on Blue Sky. I just wish Blue Sky would like come up with like an algorithm similar to TikTok instead of just being an alternative to the bird. But yeah, so yeah, I'll post on TikTok for us. We're also Team Bonus Action. Team Bonus Action is a group of friends who like to play tabletops and video games, usually associated with charity. Right now, we are associated with Extra Life. All proceeds will go to Batson Children's Hospital through the Children's Miracle Network of Hospitals. So if you can make a donation to us, we'd greatly appreciate it and help pay it forward.
All right, and with that, I hope you have a good day or night or whatever time it is over there.
Hey, Chris. Charlie's in the trees.
Oh, damn it. Charlie, get out of there.